transmission.
Oh, right.
Holy crap, that was loud. Always the ceiling with you.
That's when I stand up, I knock it down. I don't know.
Knock it up.
I guess I can go a little lower. Okay, there we go. I can lean forward. Oh,
Main screen turn on.
main screen turn on, right. I don't even need backlighting because I have so much lighting on my desk that it like lights me up. Your cat is not happy.
Sucks to be him.
I guess.
Ghost.
Ghost is dying. Dying.
Ghost, we do this every night. You get locked in after you eat dinner.
But he's dying.
There you go. Cats. I had to have cats.
Right?
Well, I had to relieve grief of some cats at the time.
Is that what you call them? Mercy ownership?
Yes. None of the shitheads today. They're just shitheads.
What's up?
I said I love the shitheads to death.
Now they're shitheads? Damn. I don't know that's how you talk about your friends. I don't know what you say about me. Jeez.
Everyone's a shithead.
Oh, who needs friends when I have enemies like Kiki? Fucking feet, goddamn. Ah! Oh, why are my joints so inflexible? Ow! Ah, God damn it.
Oh,
I don't get enough,
Cupcake.
like, what do you call it? Yoga? Exercise? Whatever? Oh, that didn't feel good. It shouldn't hurt to pull one's leg up.
You gotta stretch it out, man.
Yeah, as soon as I finish standing on it for 10 hours.
That's even more reason to stretch it out.
Oh my god. I don't want to go to work tomorrow. Can I just call in sick? I realize I've only been back for a day, but I'm ready for another break.
What the hell are you drinking?
Stuff. I'm drinking stuff. Blah. Oh, it tastes so bad.
That was the most generic looking.
It's called bubbly, and it tastes terrible.
Why are you drinking this?
Because I loathe myself. That's why.
I have a lovely cup of tea.
It's cherry flavored carbonated water. And when I say cherry flavored, it's not cherry like the clear American cherry. This is like the LaCroix water. Like it's like they took carbonated water, screamed at a cherry with it. Yeah, Kiki knows what I'm talking about. Like no sweeteners at all, period.
I hate LaCroix water. I don't get it.
It's like they took carbonated water and they just looked at a picture of a lemon.
Yeah. Over carbonated water.
Right. Nice and bubbly. Bubbly. Ugh.
How the hell are you screaming from now, Ghost?
Who knows?
Ghost!
Hello and welcome to episode 118 of the Super Happy Fun Jabbertron Tea Party with Kiki and Cupcake. Enjoy the show.
Okay, so since you just finished it, I guess. Did you finish it?
Yeah, I just finished watching it. It took me like an extra 10 minutes. I was planning on watching it when I got home, but I like took a nap and then went to dinner because my mom's babysitting my cousins. And then they wanted to go shopping, so we went to Walmart and this place called Five Below I've never been to before. It's like a dollar store, except everything is under $5 instead of under $1.
Oh.
Kind of neat.
Well, let's talk about Gate then.
It's propaganda for the Japanese Self-Defense Force. That's my best summed up. A gate opens between our world and a medieval world in downtown Tokyo, and horrible not monsters really, but a medieval army of mixed races, D&D style, goblins and ogres and humans and stuff roars through, because they're gonna try to take our world over, but they're within 10 minutes they're routed by the Japanese Self-Defense Force showing up and basically gunning them down because they're guys with spears and swords and shields and not weapons. And so we pretty readily just destroy them every time we come in contact with them. And the whole series can be summed up as Roman-esque medieval, empire feels very haughty, it can't be destroyed because it's the most powerful, nation in its world, and then comes up against modern day Japanese military who proceed to just gun it down, for lack of a better word. They initially just basically open fire with small arms, assault rifles, machine guns, pistols, and pretty handily rout an enemy battalion, just kill them all. And then we push through this gate into their world and make a beachhead right at the gate, and then proceed to just mow them down repeatedly over and over every time they attack. And by the time they're ready to, the other guys are ready to retaliate, we've got a beachhead. So now instead of just being small arms fire, they've got helicopters and fighter jets and tanks and armored vehicles, and they proceed to hit a battalion of what you could think of as Roman centurions with 30mm cannons off of an attack helicopter. And literally the one guy screamed at the other one, "What the hell did we get ourselves into?" as they're gunned down. There's literally a moment in the series where two guys on the medieval side are trying to get a ballista going so they can take out an attack helicopter. The attack helicopter, from their perspective, comes up over the battlement and is looking at them, and you literally see the chain gun cannon on the bottom of the cockpit start to spin up. Doesn't fire, just see it going. And the one guy looks at the other one and basically goes, "Are we fucked?" And the other one goes, "Yeah, I think we are." And they just hear and just smoke as they're obliterated. Well, that sucked. There's literally a 30-second interaction between these two medieval brigands that they're about to be obliterated by this helicopter. And they know they're going to be obliterated because they had seen this thing wiping out their friends on the battlefield. And they see its cannons spin up and they're like, "Oh, we're dead, aren't we?" Yep, we're dead. And just gone. They kill a red dragon, a big old fucking red dragon that shoots fire with C4. And the moment of zen for me is the main character is this massive otaku, and he's done nothing particularly important with his career in the military, except that he's a ranger, he's special forces, he's done all this crazy shit, all because he's trying to avoid responsibility. They keep sending him places to basically wash him out of the military, and he succeeds. And little by little, you find out that he's this awesome badass. And at one point, they find out that there's an earthquake going to happen on the medieval side of the gate. And they go to the Emperor's throne room to warn the people of the Empire that they should prepare themselves for this oncoming earthquake. And everybody's all very amazed. And the Japanese guys are "We go through this daily. It's not a big deal." And it turns out that the Emperor's son, the prince, has, like, been taking slaves from our side, taking civilians and enslaving them. And this mightily pisses off everybody on the Japanese side. And there's, like, a good 10-minute exchange in which the guy punches him out, takes the little Japanese girl that's been enslaved, who he's been basically sexually assaulting all along, and, you know, punches his lights out, hits the floor, gets up. At this point, the main dude, the captain or whatever, has, like, taken the girl into his custody. And the prince is like, you know, punching royalty is punishable by death. And the guy, like, literally just looks at him and goes, I'd like to see you try. And he calls his, like, royal elite guards. And there's this little, like, fucking pipsqueak gunnery sergeant that's in his unit with him. She's just this little thing. He just looks at her and gives her the signal, and she gets this, like, bloodlust glare in her eyes. She puts these, like, metal gauntlets on and runs at the prince. The prince is like, what are you gonna do? Glare to me to death? And she just fucking, like, Little Mac from fucking Punch-Out haymakers him, just fucking flying uppercut. He goes down. She lands on top of him, and she's just pummeling his face. He's just going to town. At some point, one of the guards decides they're going to try to advance on her. She just takes her pistol out, shoots him in the head, he falls over, and all the other guards are like, oh, fuck. This isn't going to go the way we think it is. And the entire fucking series can be summed up by people thinking they're invincible because they've never had to face firearms. Like, they're galactic, universal, why they're gods to these people in the way they fight. They have firearms. Like, modern automatic assault weapons. I don't care how tough your, you know, Dragonhide armor is, a full metal jacket round is still gonna punch a 6-inch hole in it.
Or apparently C4.
Oh, no, C4 is because it's still on the dragon. I mean, like, this isn't like a little dragon. This is like one of those giant ones out of, like, D&D. There's only one of them in the entire land, and they kill it. I mean, the show is just absolutely it's just such a huge propaganda thing for the fucking Japanese military, but it's fucking hilarious because these dudes are just, these medieval guys are just fucking self-righteous cunts, and it's like, oh my god, like, I've never seen such, like, the last time I saw a character like this, I was playing Far Cry 5, my character had his fingers wrapped around one of the, like, the lieutenants of the big bad, and I'm choking him to death, and he's going, you can't kill me, I'm invincible, as I'm literally choking the life out of him. This is the kind of characters you're dealing with. Like, they're fucking delusional. Like, even when they're losing, they're sure they're invincible. And when they're shown over and over again that they can be killed at an instant, they're like, you can't stop me, I'm invincible, and then he blows out one of their kneecaps, and they're like, that was just a lucky shot. And the guy literally, like, blows out the dude's kneecap. He falls to the ground. He's like, you were just lucky. He's like, the next one's going through your head. And at that very moment, the guy realizes that he's going to die if he continues this fight with the military. Like, they blow his fucking kneecap out, and he's still like, I can fight. And the dude tells him, I'm going to put the next round through your head. He's like, you wouldn't dare. What's going to stop me? It's like the most insane back-ass words fucking power fantasy I've ever watched.
Alright.
Like, I don't know how else to describe rich assholes getting their own shit handed back to them. Because it's like the Roman Empire. So, like, the nobility are running the government. And at some point, like, the senators who are not, like, the royal family realize, like, this is not a fight they're going to win, and, like, the Senate starts to turn. Like, we need to make peace with these people before they obliterate us. And the royal family, like, continues down this line of, like, we can defeat them. We just have to, you know, reorganize and try again. It's like, we have been routed 3 times. Our entire army has been decimated twice. This is not a fight we're going to win. No, we can do it. We can really do it this time. No, we're not going to do it. We're going to die. Like,
But you can always do it.
like literally they call on the aid of like their allied nations, and we just like are like the Japanese just like obliterate like all of the allied nations' armies in like a night, just kills everyone. And even after that, they're like, we can still win this. What with what army? We've killed all your allies. We've killed your entire military. Like we literally, there's like literally like the second episode, they wiped the medieval like empire's legionnaires to like the last man. And they spin it like, oh, they had this glorious victory holding off the Japanese army. They literally killed them down to the last man. Like, I love the show for the main character and his like the supporting characters, like as he goes around like doing stuff, but like every time the militaries like came into conflict, it was just a bloodbath. Like the level of skill between the two was it's just insane.
Sounds like a pretty good watch.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I think it's already on my Crunchyroll list.
Probably. I suggest people watch it. You have to kind of wrap your head around a lot of ultra violence a couple times, but beyond that, it's pretty. Like when it's focusing on the main character and like his band of misfits, it's pretty like laid back, having fun. You know, there's a little bit of combat, but nothing crazy. When they focus on like the opposing nations, it gets crazy. It just gets crazy.
Yes, Crunchyroll lists it as mature. So.
Oh, it's very mature. I don't have words for just the immense brutality. Like, they don't pull any punches. It is the immense brutality of war, and it's the immense brutality of leadership throwing men at the grinder. Like, at a certain point, even the advisors are going, we really shouldn't continue to pick a fight with these people. Like, they just continually obliterate us every time we go up against them. And you just get over and over again. We can do this. We can do this. We can defeat them. It won't take us that long. We can get them. We can take them. We'll do this. We'll turn the people against them. That's not gonna do any good if you're all dead.
Yep. Was Gate the only thing you watched lately?
No, I also watched. What else did I watch? Hang on, I gotta pull up my thing. Interstate Descending. I watched Infant Stratos. That was interesting.
Oh yes, you did.
Like it. It's hilarious to see a bunch of girls chasing after a guy who's like not a pervert. Like, he's just like a pretty normal dude living his life, and these girls are all just like going crazy. I wouldn't call it going crazy. I feel like it's a more accurate representation of what happens if you're the only boy in a school of nothing but girls.
I believe you messaged me saying they were very thirsty.
Right. I didn't know how else to verbalize it. It was just like they were dreaming about him. Like the talk, like when they're alone together, they talk about how he's their target. They're all military chicks or whatever you want. It's a military academy. Then of course the girl he really has eyes for is his childhood friend who's like a kendo expert. I mean, like, you don't see a lot of harem shows where the girls are like actively chasing after the boy. So I enjoyed it. It's a kind of cool pseudo mech show. They don't have mechs, but they have like exo armor.
So, like exoskeletons?
Yeah.
Things,
It's like they're not mechs. They're suits of like extended armor. So they have like light wings and like grappler arms and these like flying like rocket boots. Like imagine like
rocket boots.
Imagine like the arms, legs, and wings from like a Gundam, like Gundam Zero, Gundam Wing Zero, or whatever. And it's like that's what a lot of their suits kind of look like. They're all like different variations of that same idea. Like one girl's got like she's the long range person, other one's like brute force, and then other one's like, you know, like defense. It's kind of neat in the sense that, like, it sounds... How do I want to put it? Like, there's not really an enemy as much as it's all the students being tested by their adult teachers and advisors and mentors, like trying to make them better pilots, better students. But like, I mean, the crux of it is that like these girls are all like him, like the main character, whose name I don't even remember. I want to say Issei, but I don't think that's right. Ichika? Yeah, Ichika. Sorry.
Okay.
And the girl
Yes.
he's in love with is Hoki, who's voiced by Monica Rial. Har har har. Yeah, because you have Ichika, Hoki, Cecilia, Yamada, Chifu, Charo, Rin, Laura.
Lulu Eyepatch.
Right, yeah, the German girl, voiced by Tiffany Grant.
Of course she's German.
Like, I had this, like, I was like, where the hell did they pull Tiffany Grant from? Like, I haven't heard her since, like, Gundam. I mean, it is from 2012, but still, like, Tiffany Grant, and then,
Everyone's got bills to pay.
yeah, but, like, one of the girls, one of the ladies is, no, who is Hoki's older sister, like crazy scientist type. She's voiced by the lady who did Misato from fucking Neon Justice Evangelion. Like, her and Tiffany Grant, who was the voice of Asuka, it's like, what a hole did you dig them out of? Like, they haven't voice acted regularly in, like, at least 15 years. Like, when I heard both of them, I was just like, what? Where's Spike Spencer after all this? Spike Spencer is the voice of Sunji. He was not in this show, but I was waiting for him to pop up. But yeah, like the Tiffany Grant playing the German like tsundere girl. I was just like, oh, what a shock. I also watched Shrine of the Morning Mist, which was kind of a neat show. Supernatural. Kind of starts as it's a show about like a shrine maiden club at a high school. Like, the first half of the series is a pretty quirky slice of life with a little bit of supernatural. And it gets kind of like serious cliffhanger at the end, but it all kind of, goes standard Japanese storytelling. Kind of shocked me. I thought it was going to be a way more serious show than it was. It ended up being kind of silly up until the end. Last disc was a little serious, but everything else was kind of fun and lighthearted. They have a beach episode, they have a pool episode. It's from like early 2000s, so it's a lot of like the trope of fires popping up. I watched the second Gurren Lagann recap movie, which is The Light in the Skies of Stars. Tells the time skip story of the series. And it has the animated part where Simone, as an adult, punches out the anti-spiral god. Like, they literally throw him at the anti-spiral god. He punches him out barehanded. He punches him so hard that he literally like blows like a 3-foot hole in his chest. And the anti-spiral god's just like, so be it. You shall be the next caretaker of the universe. And it just blows up. It's like, damn, normal human being hit a god so hard he blew up. I actually don't remember how it ends in the TV series, but the movie, I know it didn't end like that, like it did in the movies where he punches him so hard he blows up. Like, his sheer determination just killed this anti-spiral, anti-determination god thing. It's change versus, like, stasis. I finished Onigiri, which was a whole bunch of little shorts that were very silly, and I don't know if it was really worth the amount of money I spent, but glad that I bought it. It's like, I don't really know what you're supposed to do with like a show that has 5-minute episodes, but they tried their best.
the pretty clear advertisement for the was it MMORPG it's based off of.
Yeah. I can see that.
But yeah, I think that's. I finished Area, but I don't know if I had finished that the last time we talked. I mean, not the whole series, but I finished season 1 of Area, which is the granddaddy of all slice of life, modern slice of life animes. They call it the Great Healer. I thought it was okay. I don't know. It's a little too slow for me. I think I would have to have like some tea or something if I was going to watch it.
Sounds like my kind of anime.
I feel like it's the kind of anime you watch like on like a Saturday morning when you're just kind of like sitting on the couch like under a blanket.
Those are nice.
Right. I liked it. It was good. It was very, very good. But it was just like it was a little too slow for the way I watch anime. So it was kind of like it took me like a week and a half to finish. I could only watch like a couple episodes at a time. Like, what I'm trying to get across is there was nothing wrong with it. It's just the way, like, what I've been watching. Like, it was so different that I couldn't, like, these other ones I've been like binging. I couldn't binge this show because it's just kind of like, it's very good in small doses. I don't think I'd want to try to like watch a whole bunch of episodes in a row. And I mean, it's only like the first of 5 seasons, so I'm sure the later ones will probably improve with time. But yeah, I think that's everything I've watched while I was on vacation.
Vacation time. Woo! Did you enjoy your vacation?
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
So I finished Happy Sugar Life.
Oh yeah. How was that?
It was
Oh,
wonderful.
that's cool.
It's a lovely roller coaster of both pace and emotion, which works very well with its story. And I would highly recommend it if you're into, that sort of thing.
Right. It's not for everybody, but it definitely has its place.
Yeah. If you want to see people get hurt, I got an anime for you.
Right.
Especially if they're cute people. I also watched Skullface bookseller Hondo-san.
That's an interesting title.
Yep. It's new. It's got a single episode out. It's a literal title. The guy is a skeleton and he sells books in a bookstore. And hilarity ensues. Nobody seems to care that he's a skeleton, but other than that, hilarity ensues.
Right.
So, it's on Crunchyroll right now. So, it's quite funny. I would recommend it if people want to watch something like that.
Right.
Really, he's more played off like an older man
Right.
than a skeleton.
I mean, that's like Mr. Kitamura, Supersonico's agent in Supersonico the animation, which is a guy with like a ogre's ogre. He wears like an ogre mask, like horrible nightmarish looking thing. Everybody freaks out and they're like, "What the hell is he?" And he's like, "That's not very nice. I'm her agent, Mr. Kitamura." Like very like everybody but like the people who meet him are like, what the hell am I looking at?
Mm-hmm. Then I watched Zombieland Saga.
I heard there's some big twist in the first episode, but I don't know. Everybody,
Do you want me to spoil the big
everybody was
twist?
yelling at me that I need to watch it right now, and I was like, I'm watching other stuff. I mean, is it like world changing, or is it something that I'll be okay if like it's spoiled for me?
it's part of the plot.
They all turn into zombies.
Yes.
Oh.
They're a zombie idol group.
Oh, okay. Well, that's no big deal.
It's fucking adorable.
I bet it is.
And you should watch it.
Okay, yeah, I'm not really upset about that. Like, I thought it was gonna be something like earth-shattering, but that's just kind of like, oh, okay, it's called Zombieland Saga. Like,
no, Guy is literally trying to build the best idol group ever by digging up legendary women.
nice. Like legendary idol singers.
Not exclusively idol singers, but essentially yes.
Right, that idea, like musicians, basically.
And they're all zombies because of it. But there's different levels of zombie.
Okay.
So some of them are your traditional zombie.
Okay.
And that's not really working out. In the first episode.
Okay.
But I'm gonna keep watching it. There's only 2 episodes out right now. I don't know how many episodes this is going to last for, but so far so good.
I imagine 12. That's what everything is, basically.
12 or 20 something.
24, 26.
One or the other.
Yeah,
one or the other.
Long. If it does, that'd be amazing, but that's rare. It's like Gate was 24 episodes, and I was like, oh my god, I got 2 cores? What is this?
Doesn't Gate have a second season?
Does it?
I was looking at the thingy and it had a second season.
What? Oh my god, I'm so excited. I was thinking it needed a second season. I believe you completely. I was just saying to a friend who was asking me if I'd finished it, I was like, you're right, Gate TV 2. Oh, that was in the complete collection I got. So I guess it needs a 3rd season.
Oh.
I didn't realize it was both. I thought that was weird that it was 26 episodes. I'm like, or 24 episodes. I'm like, they don't normally do that. So they combine both seasons together.
Oh, it's convenient.
Right.
What?
Hmm?
You said what?
I didn't say anything.
You had a look.
I just realized you haven't said anything for like 5-10 minutes. Like, you asked me about the anime I watched, I finished that out, and then we've just been sitting here quietly.
I mean, it's October, so what's your favorite horror kind of animes?
I don't watch horror anime. I mean,
it doesn't have to be horror exclusive, just frightening.
Is this a zombie? And is this a zombie of the dead? They were good shows. What else? God, I don't know. Some people might consider Elfen Lied, but like, I mostly only watch that because my friends forced me to watch it. Like, I bought it, got like 4 episodes in, couldn't stand it, and then was basically goaded into finishing it.
I think we've talked before about how that show is overrated.
I just couldn't take all the abuse. So much of people getting beat up.
That's mostly what it is. It's gore voyeurism and the wrong kind of pretentiousness.
Right, yeah. It's not like Neon Genesis Evangelion is pretentious because it pretends to be philosophical when it's not. This just pretends to be like, look at how meaning, like, it's like a nihilist fucking violence porn fantasy of like, look how shitty the world is, how nothing matters. We just watched a bunch of kindergartners kill a puppy just to prove how cruel they could be to this girl. It's like, that didn't prove anything. Also, most children don't have it in them to kill another living thing, especially nothing like a puppy. Not saying it can't happen, but that's generally some pretty fucked up upbringing that you're okay with killing something like that. Like, we classify serial killers by the fact that they killed small mammals as children.
Yeah.
Like, it goes into the whole dogma of, like, desensitizing them to violence. Like, actual violence, like, not just, like, seeing it on TV. Every time they goes, well, video games desensitize you to violence. But they desensitize you to the idea of violence. The actual act of doing it is a whole other kettle of fish.
It's one thing to press a button and shoot a gun than to actually shoot a gun.
Right. I don't know. I mean, like, you could technically call Fullmetal Alchemist some sort of, like, body horror. Like, what happens to them in the beginning and kind of, like, them dealing with the consequences and, like, all the horrible monsters that are inhabiting the land.
Fullmetal Alchemist has some horror themes to it.
I'm not saying, like, it's full-blown horror, but there's a lot of, like, kind of horrible things. And, like, grotesque in what I would call, like, traditional horror. Very, like, Frankenstein's monster. Like, the book, not the movie. I'm, like, really digging into my academic roots here with the clarifying it as a extrapolation of Frankenstein's monster. I mean, not like in the most literal sense, but like in the sense of like an experiment gone awry that just kind of slowly but surely unravels and gets away from them. I mean, what else? God.
Isn't Fullmetal Alchemist written by a woman?
Yes! Yes, it was! Which is why all the female characters are such strong people.
Well, they're well written.
Like,
because
they're all...
It's almost like they were written by someone who knows how to write people.
Like, all of the main character women in that show are ass kickers, all of them. And they're all dealing with some pretty fucked up shit. Like, you read the backstories, like, I mean, everybody, but, like, even the women, like, it's fucked up. Like, they all have fucked up backgrounds, and they, like, still, like, are these awesome people. Louis Armstrong's older sister, Olivia. Izumi Curtis, their teacher, who is, like a walking god, and she's so powerful. Winry, his girlfriend, who's also the mechanic for his his limbs. Like, that I always felt like that by itself was such a fucking strike against, like, the whole only men can be engineers kind of thing. Like, one of the best automobile mechanics, actually, like, universally considered one of the best automobile engineers and mechanics in the entire country is his girlfriend's, or I should say, Winry's grandmother, Hanako Rockbell. Like, literally considered, like, one of the masters of the art. Little old lady. And then, you know, obviously, Winry's, like, ridiculous by herself. Like, she's amazing. She's a prodigy. And she's the one that works on all of Ed's automail. And that none of the you can tell it's written by women, written by a woman, because none of the men treat the women like shit. They never like, there's never a moment where one of the men question if the women can handle what they're getting into. Like, I know that's a really kind of sexist thing to throw out into the arena, but, like, watching that show, I just remember thinking, like, there's a lot of times that you have, like, the knight in shining armor. That doesn't really happen. It's more of, are you going to be okay? Yeah, I got this thing. Okay, awesome. And then they run off in another direction to fight a monster. It's always amusing to me, too, that, like, it all made sense when I found out that the author was a woman. It's like, okay, that's why the women aren't written like fucking eye candy. Like, not that I would have been any less amazed if it had been a man, but it was like, oh, this makes so much sense. God, I don't know, what else?
Well, Madoka Magica obviously has horror
God,
elements.
that's such a dark show. Such a dark franchise. God, that's a dark franchise.
That is apparently going to have more to it.
Right. Just the way that the movies end is such a middle finger to the whole break the cutie thing. I was just really, like, it seems really wrong, but I was very impressed with how, like, the whole story arc for, both Madoka and, I always forget her name. The damn, like, she literally ends up being the main character after Madoka's cycle finishes. Homura, right? Like, Homura's whole, like, character arc is just ridiculous. Like, she goes through such intense psychotic pain and suffering repeatedly over and over again because of the time traveling, and eventually, like, she just becomes a whole being. Like, her whole personality makes a shift because of how much, like, it's the whole nirvana. She suffers so much, she finally reaches enlightenment, and enlightenment isn't pretty in that universe.
No, it's not.
Both of them, like, what enlightenment entails is not a pretty picture. Like, when they, it's a ring cycle, and when the cycle, like, traditionally in the German folklore, when the cycle is broken, and you finally complete your journey of basically purgatory, you're not the same person that you entered the cycle as. Like, why it is the ring cycle is that you repeat everything over and over and over until you find the correct solution. It's not even a solution, but when you find the right path through the maze, you come out the other side a changed person, or entity in the case of this show. And it's kind of impressive, like, what they become to each other. I initially, when I watched the TV show, didn't like how it ended, but I like where the movies kind of put it at. It's not a pretty picture, but it's definitely, like, of the realities they could have existed in, the final reality that they fall into is kind of heaven. Like, it's all of the magical girls get to live in a world where they don't have to suffer. Like, and to me, that was just kind of like the ultimate, like, because the show started as kind of a, like, kick the cutie, break the cutie, and eventually it became this, like, it broke that down and became this, like, it came full circle. Transcended the mask is a good term for it. Like, it broke the mask and then transcended its own identity to become something wholly different. Yeah, what else? I'm, like, looking at my collection going, like, what else is out there? Ghost Stories for a completely psychotic what do you call it? Gag dub.
Perfect Blue is a psychological thriller, but
Is that
it has horror elements.
that's that psychological thriller by Satoshi Kun, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I'm not sure. I always get that one and is it Blue Gender mixed up? Or something like that, Perfect Gender? I don't know. Whatever.
Which, obviously would highly recommend people watch Perfect Blue.
Right.
If they can get it.
I think it's getting a re-release. Think being the keyword.
I hope so. It's like one of my favorites. Especially since you used to be able to rent it at
movie
Hollywood Video.
Girl Hollywood Video.
It didn't have a rating, I
Right.
think, so they let, teenage me rent it when they probably shouldn't.
Because that shit is dark.
Dad loved it too, so.
Oh, I bet. God, I really wish my ankles would stop hurting. Anyway, sorry.
Speaking of Satoshi Kon, Paranoia Agent. It's kind of a horror.
Oh, God, Paranoia Agent. I was only ever able to get through it one time, and then I just couldn't bring myself to go another round with it. And not that it's bad, it's just like, I watched it once and that was enough.
Some people have that problem with it. It's very...
It's not a show I would sit down and watch again for fun. It's not my cup of tea. I'm glad I watched it. That's not an indication of its quality or its value. That's just a personal preference. Like, that's a fucky $5 show.
I mean my fucky shows.
Oh, I'm aware. You can get through stuff that like I have to fight to sit through. Whereas I definitely are much more of a masochist for it's so dumb shows. Stuff that you're like, I would not have watched past the second episode. I'll finish off and go, that was so stupid. So stupid. My First Girlfriend as a Gal is a good example of that. Like, I sat through the horrifyingly bad writing. Like, and I quote, I wish a girl would leave a letter in my locker, but scrawled in crayon. Right? Like, so squicky. Like, even I, like, I'm pretty tolerant. Like, even I looked at a couple other people who are anime fans and I was like, what the hell were they thinking when they wrote that line? Like, it plays to the character, like, what a complete piece of garbage he is, but still, like, not really funny, kind of dark as shit. I mean, to be fair, I made the same argument about the Sakura Kinomoto's homeroom teacher, who's like a 25-year-old man and the 10-year-old girl that's in love with him, and how they're fated by the stars to be lovers.
Yeah.
And they try to very gently write around that, but it's still like, that's dark as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, it's implied, not implied, it's stated implicitly that there's nothing going on between them, that he's waiting for her to grow up, but that's still fucking dark as shit.
He's waiting for a 10-year-old to grow up.
Like, dark as fuck. Just dark as fuck. Like, they meant no harm by it, but like when you actually like sit down and look at like some of the relationships that they're writing about, they're trying to cover like all the bases with all the different things you could run into like in life. And it's some of the shit that they wrote about for that series, because in the end, well, it's a show about a cute 10-year-old girl collecting magical cards that have powers. it's really like the underlying treatise of it is like they're exploring like what is love from the perspective of, for all intents and purposes, a 10-year-old girl. And some of the shit that just happens to roll into that, like, still, Toya and Yuki are still my favorite gay couple of all time because it's so fucking, like, underwritten that that's a thing. Like, when it finally happens, it's such a non-point that it's just absolutely hilarious. And most people don't watch that far into the series, so they don't even know what happens. That's like in the 3rd season somewhere that Yuki like confesses to Toya, her older brother, that he's in love with him, and Toya's like, "Yeah, I kind of figured that." Well, don't you care? I feel the same way, and that's like it. That's as far as like there's no great shots of cherry blossoms. It's just like and then it's a thing. Whatever. Who cares?
High School of the Dead.
Yes. If
is a very traditional
horror anime. If I wiggle my boobs hard enough, a bullet will pass between them. I'm sorry. I'm gonna harken back to that every time you bring that series up. Just the girl going and her boobs going oink, 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 and the fucking like rifle round going right between her tits as they wiggle back and forth. Now you want to talk about a bunch of girls that are trying to jump the boys? Holy crap! The whole scene at that safe house where they jump into the lingerie and shit after the shower scene, like. Damn, they were not cutting any corners with that show. Going right for
No, that show is a lot of fan
Oh god,
service.
yes.
It's got its screwed up stuff
Right.
and then it's gore.
Right.
But what?
Hmm?
You said wait.
No, I said right.
Oh, I heard
Oh,
wait.
no, sorry. I meant to say right. I'm all nasally. It's allergy. God damn it, I got refitted for underwear and the new ones fit right, but they freaking slide down so easily because there's not as much fabric as there used to be.
Are you losing your ass?
Well, here's the deal. I'm still wearing the same underwear I was wearing from when I was like 260 pounds, and it was suggested that part of the reason why, like, I am having trouble getting my pants to fit is that, like, a lot of the fabric from my underwear is like getting bagged up in my pants, and so went down a couple sizes of underwear to match my waist size, and they fit fine. Like, they're great when I'm at work, like, when I'm actually up doing stuff, but like when I'm sitting around the house, like, I kind of like the extra large underwear. To put it in perspective, right now I have double extra large, and now large. And the larger one I'm wearing now, and they're fine. But if I sit and kind of wiggle, like they try to, like, the back of it wants to like slide down. That sounds so weird. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
It's been bugging the snot out of me because, like, if I wear like my like I'm a fat ass underwear, like, I have this problem, but not as readily with these because there's just enough fabric. It's like, oh my god, my underwear, they don't want to stay on.
I myself just threw away a bunch of underwear.
Just old and worn out.
Yeah.
That's partly why I bought a package of new ones, because it was getting to the point where I was getting burnout on the inseams, and I was like, okay, these gotta go. I get threadbare in the legs. To be fair, I wear boxers, which basically means they're always going to get burned out on the inseam. I honestly don't know how guys do it. The guys who wear boxer briefs, I just couldn't. I tried it once, could not do it.
Nobody wears boxer briefs. Now.
Right.
That is. I honestly have never had a conversation about it with him, so I don't know.
No, yeah, I'm sorry. That wasn't like now I'm Kiki about the meta unit. No, I mean I just was like I'm impressed with dudes who can do it because I wore tidy whities like until I was in like I don't know, like 4th or 5th grade, and then I switched over to boxers. I just never went back. I've tried boxer briefs and just regular underwear. Can't do it. Just like I'm a boxer guy. I gotta have that airflow.
Everybody likes what they like.
No, yeah. I mean, that wasn't like a condemnation. Like I said, not a condemnation of people wearing the other styles of underwear or going commando. I'm not judging. Some people.
I've got like 3 different styles in there for depending on what I feel like / what I'm wearing. Because that's how women's clothing works.
Sexiness based on the amount that it abuses your body.
I actually don't wear abusive underwear anymore. I'm too
old for that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess old's not the right terminology. Tired of that shit.
Yeah. I want comfy underwear, damn it.
You're married.
Same goes for bras.
Right. Well, from anecdotal personal experience, I've noticed that bras are much more. Bras are like the way guys. Bras are an invisible symbol of the way guys like personalize themselves with ties.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have seen every walk of life in the kinds of bras I've seen floating around.
Booby support.
Right. I mean, if we're going to support anything, we've got to support boobies.
It is October.
Well, October's National Safety Month.
It's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Only because of the industrial something complex.
It's Pink Month.
It's also, make sure you're checking your goddamn fire alarms month.
Okay.
God, I've been selling a lot of smoke and CO alarms this month. This is also the reason why it's National Fire Month or Fire Safety Month is because this is when the fire marshal goes around and checks all the like commercial properties and makes sure that like their fire extinguisher and stuff are up to snuff for the winter. Ooh, eat. Ugh. My damn ankles are all locked up. Oh.
Did you watch Future Diary?
I have not. I own it.
I can't remember.
I actually own it. I have not watched it. And part of the reason I haven't watched it is there's a Blu-ray version out now that has the OVAs that came out later added into it. Supposedly that's the true ending. So I've kind of been holding off on like for Christmas, like when the super sales hit, maybe get a copy of the completed edition.
Well, we won't talk about that one then.
It's supposed to be good from what everybody I've talked to who's seen it has said.
Oh, it is.
I've kind of been holding off because it sounds like it's one of those shows where like I have to be in the right mood to watch it because it's kind of dark.
Whew, pardon. Yeah. Going back a little ways, Serial Experiments Lane.
Which I've never watched but I've heard is amazing.
Okay. You should watch Serial Experiments Lane.
Right.
It's on Crunchyroll. I'm surprised you don't own it.
You know, its release predates me collecting really hard, and it has been re-released, but I just never really bothered to get a copy. I'll keep my eyes open. There's a lot of series I've just missed with time, and just never got to. I don't know how else to put that, honestly.
Okay.
I don't think it's very expensive because I don't think it got a re-release from Funimation, but I feel like it was not super expensive. Yeah, Serial Experiments Lane, complete collection. Yeah, that is not the version I wanted. That's the one for multi-format. Yeah, like $23. Not terribly expensive. Oh, I see. There was a version initially where they re-released it, and there was a classics edition that's cheaper. $250 for the collector's edition? I didn't even realize it was worth that much.
Shit.
What's the Funimation release? Who did this? English. Yeah, 2012. Wow. Okay, yeah, definitely going with the classic edition. I was just curious. Like, that's stupid expensive. Yeah, so I'll keep my eyes open. I mean, Moon Phase could be considered horror, kind of.
Okay.
Not strictly in the sense of the word, but it is kind of dark. I don't really remember a lot of it. I just remember being really squicky because it's like vampire Lolita girl, which is like, oh boy. Oh yes, good old Steins Gate. So dark. Oh god, Mermaid Forest. Did you ever watch Mermaid Forest?
Yes, I did.
That's horror, without a doubt.
You used to be able to rent that from Hollywood Video.
No Game No Life.
I suppose School Days.
Which I own but have not watched yet. It's on my pile. I know Attack on Titan's pretty dark.
I've not actually watched School Days. I played the visual novel it's based on. I just happen to know which ending it used.
Oh, okay. I take it not one of the good ones, I'm assuming.
No.
Right. Maddox 01, Demon City Shinjuku, Argu, Any fucking Yasha.
I mean, I'm not watching it, but Tokyo Ghoul, I guess, is a horror anime.
Hellsing?
Really...
Is Hellsing horror, or is it just... See, I've been ruined by Hellsing Abridged. Like, now I don't even know if I would consider it horror, because all I can hear is, get that bitch a cannon, bitches love cannons. Anderson, so good to see you. I feel like it's been years, but it's only been days. And who's this gentleman? How are you? Cat Soup is existential, but maybe not horror. Good old Garzy's Wing.
I guess that's all the ones we could think of.
Yeah, I'm just like, I can't think of anything else.
I'm sure there's more out there,
right.
But... Are we done?
I think so. I'm beat. I had work today. I have work tomorrow. My brain is gone.
Oh, you're fine. You did a lot of talking.
Thank you once again for listening to the super happy fun Jabbertron Tea Party with Kiki and Cupcake. Happy Halloween, my fellow internet beings.
Okay. Good night, Bones.
Good night, Kiki.
Transmission terminated.